Chapter 10. The Mystical Life. Now, the practical person who has been unusually quiet as we've been talking suddenly comes alive, like a dog that's just gotten out of the water and starts shaking itself off. He asks again, but this time with a bit of force, his familiar question, "What's the point of all this?" He continues saying, "You've shown me some unusual mental states and intriguing feelings, which are interesting in their own right. You've also introduced me to some unique emotions, many of which are probably valuable for poets and such. But it all seems disconnected from everyday life. How will it relate to my regular life? Most importantly, how will it benefit me?" On a simpler level, this new way of approaching life, this deeper and broader perspective, could potentially be just as beneficial to you as many other things you've dedicated a lot of time and effort to in the past. For example, your extensive travels to new places, long hours spent acquiring new knowledge, refining your skills in various arts and games. All of these were certainly worthwhile endeavors. They rewarded you with fresh insights into certain aspects of life, provided new connections to a world full of possibilities, and expanded your understanding of the universe in one way or another. Your passion and diligent exploration of nature, art, science, politics, business, and even sports have all enriched your life in this way. However, I'm offering you something in return for your humble and industrious attention to a different aspect of the world, which you might not have explored much before. This new perspective has the potential to encompass and surpass all of these other experiences. Its limits are determined only by how generous, courageous, and open you are to embracing it fully. Don't think that this expansion of your understanding will only involve gaining some new spiritual insights through contemplation, like just opening a window you've never looked out of before. This broader perspective won't be something you merely observe. It will be something you immerse yourself in, because humans naturally respond to their surroundings. You'll gradually change as you live in this new reality. Being in this atmosphere of truth, you'll actually become more real yourself. So, if you trust and embrace the suggestions I've offered, and I admit that having faith is crucial at the beginning, and if you diligently practice the techniques I've described, then sooner or later you'll inevitably undergo a profound and lasting transformation. You'll realize that you've become a new person. It won't just be about gaining new ways of seeing and understanding reality. It will involve a quiet and complete metamorphosis, a strengthening and maturing of your personality. Indeed, you're still living your everyday physical life. You're part of the ongoing flow of time connected to humanity, society, and your nation. The emotions, instincts, and needs of these groups influence you. Your changing energy contributes to the collective life of these groups, and now, thanks to your newfound intuitive empathy, their interests matter to you too. Because you're part of this collective life, it affects you, shaping you in countless subtle ways. It makes you react to ideas and beliefs that you might no longer agree with. You're still influenced right up to the end of your physical existence, and perhaps even beyond, by habits, customs, and the familiar way of misunderstanding the world. To some extent, you're still under the sway of the group mentality. Despite all of this, you are now free from the overwhelming influence of the crowd's consciousness in a way you've never been before. You feel like a distinct and vibrant individual, a real and complete person. You depend on the collective, and you are happy to do so, but within that collective, you are a self-governing and free entity. Perhaps you used to believe that your will was entirely your own, that you were, as you sometimes said, the captain of your soul. If that was the case, it was just one of the many illusions that kept you on your old, constrained path. In reality, you were led down a road, unaware of what lay beyond the hedges, surrounded by other members of the flock. You might have found some satisfaction in the warmth of collective life, but you didn't know where you were heading. Your personal initiative was limited to grabbing bits of opportunity as they came and finding the easiest path. These actions together made up what you called success. But now, because you've gained the ability to gather yourself, to see yourself as an individual with a spirit, and to understand your relationship with other unique lives, you have a much deeper and truer understanding of both the general and individual aspects of existence. From time to time, you've heard the shepherd's enigmatic call, which has shown you how you and the flock are always moving forward in response to his guiding presence. As a result, you have a much better grasp of life and can navigate it with greater confidence. Don't think that your new path will always be filled with pleasant spiritual experiences, or that it will involve gentle contemplation of the vast world around you. While it's said that the shepherd carries the lambs close to him, the rest of the sheep are expected to walk on their own and deal with the ups and downs of the journey. What you're called to is more about strength than comfort. Now that the spiritual aspect of your being has come into focus, you've moved beyond simply going along with the flow and blindly progressing through time like the rest of the flock. You're in a position of creative responsibility. You're aware of your personal connection with the shepherd, and you also connect with a larger, deeper, and broader world. The sky, the landscape around you, the collective character and significance of the group you belong to, all of these are now part of your awareness. Each small event, every individual request or opportunity that comes your way is seen in a truer perspective because you approach it with a sense of the bigger picture. Your journey is no longer an automatic process. It takes on some qualities of a free choice. Things are now under your influence. You are no longer controlled by them. You'd probably agree that this is a practical benefit. Expanding and deepening the range of your perception makes you more of a complete person than you were before. It enhances your overall practical abilities rather than taking away from them. It's only when you reach these levels and experience this creative freedom, this full realization of your potential, along with the understanding of a world order, a love, and an energy that supports you, and with which you now align your interests, that you become fully human. You become capable of living a genuine, eternal life within the framework of the time-bound world. Now, when you find yourself in this unique position, serving as a bridge between two different aspects of existence, do you think it's for no purpose? Don't you believe it's your responsibility, to the best of your ability, to reflect in your actions the true nature of the universe you now understand you're a part of? Consider artists as an example. They perceive a more vibrant and beautiful world than most people, and their love and enthusiasm drive them to attempt to express and bring to life these deeper meanings of form, sound, and rhythm they've grasped. By doing so, they uncover deeper truths and establish a closer connection with reality. For them, the act of creation is closely tied to their capacity for love. Their passionate expression toward the universe, which they admire in one of its many aspects, is always followed, balanced, and completed by a desire to bring their vision into the realm of time and share it with others. Each artist, by introducing new aspects of beauty and fresh ways of seeing and hearing to humanity, contributes to improving the ordinary world, making it more appealing than the grim world of greed. They help liberate others from their previous complacency in a realm of limited meaning. So, for these artists, their true and most secure place in the active living world of reality is in their actions. They understand reality best by participating in its work of expression and manifestation. For them, contemplation and action aren't opposites. They're two interconnected forms of a single life. This life reaches out passionately to connect with the true and beautiful, only to gain from this direct experience of reality a new intensity with which to interact with the world of things. They strive to reshape it, or at least a small part of it, to be closer to the heart's desire. Once more, the great mystics explain that when you experience the vision of God in His own light, which is a direct connection between the core of your being and the Absolute, you come very close to it in the third level of contemplation. This experience is not a prelude to merely revealing more about the eternal order to you. Instead, it leads to a complete transformation, a vibrant new life emerging within you. They sometimes call it the transforming union, or the birth of the Son in the soul. What they mean is that the spiritual essence, that special and powerful aspect of human nature within you, which first led you to desire, then strive for, and finally attain contact with reality, is, in a way, fertilized by this deep connection with its source. It becomes robust and vigorous, permeates and changes your entire personality. This transformation doesn't turn you into a dreamy mystic, but rather into an active and fervent servant of eternal wisdom. When these experienced and lively mystics try to explain the kind of life they've achieved, it sounds very active. They don't say they're just sitting around in peaceful contentment, even though they deeply understand that state and might have a strong desire to completely lose themselves in it. Instead, they tell us they're constantly moving up and down the ladder of contemplation. They aim for the top, where everything in life comes together, and they also dive into various aspects of life with a passionate love and dedication. This back and forth between rest and action, they say, is what human life is all about. It's the only way we can get a sense in human terms of the rich yet simple existence they find in God, where there's always activity but also everlasting peace. When someone reaches this state, they truly connect with reality. They become part of the ongoing creative process, the never-ending generation of divine thoughts and love. So contemplation, even at its highest and most personal, shouldn't be the ultimate goal for you. It only really belongs to you when it drives you to take action, when you embrace the two-way movement of transcendent love, pulling inward for unity and fulfillment, and then reaching outward again to create and engage. You're meant to be a passionate living instrument through which the supreme artist works, one of the tools for revealing himself, participating in the ongoing process of expressing his reality in tangible ways. When an artist brings vision, reality, and beauty to life, when they create in various forms, two essential elements come into play: the creative spirit that breathes life into the work, and the material it works with. There's always a difference in tension between these two. The material is typically passive, merely waiting to be shaped by the creative idea, but at times it can resist the idea. Therefore, the amount of energy required and the level of perfection achieved depend on the balance between these factors. By embracing the vast universe of the mystic and the responsibilities that come with it, you have firmly chosen to side with the creative spirit. You've opted for a higher tension, an unwavering effort, and a passion for a richer, more intense, and more meaningful life. The devotion you've pledged is not about following conventional rituals and authorized hymn books. It's about a burning and consuming fire within you. You'll soon discover that the world, continuing on its own path, engrossed in its own set of priorities, yielding to every impulse of desire, focused on satisfying greed, pursuing comfort, or seeking power, will often oppose your newfound enthusiasm. It may do so with resistance and sometimes even with violent opposition. However, more often than not, it will display exasperating indifference, much like a stubborn, heavy animal that refuses to budge. If your new life holds any value, It will burn even brighter when it encounters this stubborn resistance from the world. You need these challenges to act upon. Remember, the path to affirmation often passes through denial, and engaging in a righteous struggle is the only way to achieve a dynamic and lasting peace. Furthermore, you'll notice more and more clearly that the external world you live in, along with the methods and mechanisms of everyday life, isn't just passively incongruent with your profound inner understanding of truth. It actively conflicts with it. This stubborn, indolent, heavy animal is not only lethargic, but also afflicted with ailments. All the twisted ways in which humanity perceives the universe, along with the perverse and dreadful actions that result from these distortions, have triggered reactions and deep-seated disorders in the world around us. Humans possess the freedom to shape their reality, and they hold the keys to both heaven and hell. Within the universe, driven by love that you've come to see as a unified whole, you'll encounter egotism, rebellion, pettiness, cruelty, and squalor, all products of separated selves whose energies oppose the natural flow of existence. However, in this love-infused universe, even every distorted aspect of life can still be redeemed and redirected toward the purposes of reality, because everything exists by the love of God. The conflicts and contradictions within it aren't integral to its true nature and can therefore be overcome. So, isn't there an abundance of practical work here for you to undertake? Work that directly emerges from your mystical experiences? Isn't there a wealth of opportunities for you to make a difference? And isn't it precisely through this new foundation it provides, the enhanced clarity of vision and conviction it offers, in its noble, earnest, and unshakable faith, that mysticism proves to be useful? It's useful even for the most scientifically inclined social reformers, the most combative politicians, and the least sentimental philanthropists. To put it simply, all the great mystics share a common desire: to bring the eternal into the present moment, to make the invisible aspects of life tangible and real. They want to be as close to the eternal goodness as a person's own hand is to them. They express this desire openly. They all encourage active and purposeful efforts, injecting their purified and enthusiastic intentions into the real world of everyday life. In essence, mystics are like artists, and the material they work with is often human existence itself. They seek to mend the disconnection between what is happening in reality and what is genuinely real. They do this because, fueled by their unwavering faith, hope, and love, they believe that such a reconciliation is attainable. This conviction enables them to work toward it with an unwavering sense of purpose and an unshakable optimism that others might lack. This innate drive led individuals like St. Francis of Assisi to embrace the practical wisdom of poverty, St. Catherine of Siena to move from contemplation to political engagement, Joan of Arc to save France, St. Teresa to establish an ideal religious community, Fox to advocate for a world religion guided by the inner light, Florence Nightingale to confront officials, vermin, filth, and disease in military hospitals, and Octavia Hill to create better living conditions in London slums, making them more reminiscent of the shadows of the angels' houses than the typical accommodations provided by practical landlords. All of these individuals were convinced that human beings play a significant role in the ongoing process of creation. They believed that step by step, through humanity's efforts, the fragmented realms of love, thought, and action would be unified once more. It falls upon those who have discovered the connecting thread that binds these realms together to bring this understanding out of obscurity. They are tasked with using this knowledge, much like the way the ancient alchemists claimed they could use their tincture to transform ordinary metals into gold. So here's your calling laid out for you, and it offers a wide range of opportunities, making it difficult to find nothing to do. Your mission is to bring into reality, within the world of time and space, that more genuine life, that sacred creative energy which the world as a whole only manifests somewhat indifferently. You'll work towards promoting compassion, order, beauty, and significance. You'll repair what's broken and create what's needed, whether through grand, heroic efforts or small, everyday actions in fields, markets, public transportation, offices, or living rooms, in the ongoing interactions of daily life. As St. Thomas in his profound hymn, which when translated into English is, "I devoutly adore you, hidden deity," expressed, the practical aspect of that adoration involves revealing the real presence from its hidden state and displaying it for others to see. Until now, you may not have been very active in this regard, but it's the very reason for your existence. Your contemplative awareness, if cultivated, will soon make this clear to you. Nature, teeming with life, has provided you with many symbolic representations of reality through your loving attention. When viewed with a perspective of love and kindness, it becomes even more sacred and meaningful than you might have initially thought. Now, what about your own life? Is it also a manifestation of the divine? As Henry Vaughan said, "Each oak doth cry, I am." Does your existence proclaim the grandeur, beauty, intensity, and the living wonder of that eternal reality in which you currently find yourself? Do your moments of contemplation align with your actions in the world? If everyone's contemplation and actions lined up, if this alignment was a widespread thing, then these individual changes would transform humanity's overall awareness. It would get back in touch with the transcendent, and the spiritual world would become a part of everyday life. That would mean the world as we know it today, full of false ideas, meaningless conflicts, and shallow values, especially the world our children inherit, would change for the better. The whole human race, not just a few wise individuals, would be in union with God. People, touched by His light and warmth, would become His active agents. They'd reach a level of life that mystics boldly call deification. This idea of redeeming the world is common in various religions and sometimes shown vividly in the dreams and visions of seers and prophets. It's the true embodiment of divine wisdom. You must learn to see, as Paul did, the pains and disorders in creation, including your own struggles, efforts, and challenges, as parts of the process of this majestic birth. Just as patriots are called to think in terms of empires, mystics are encouraged to think in celestial terms. And this applies not only when contemplating what is typically considered spiritual, but also when dealing with the tangible difficulties, the hardships, the cruelties, the failures, and the deteriorations of life. So what's being presented to you isn't merely a choice among new ways of perceiving reality or experiencing emotions. Most importantly, it's an opportunity for a broader and more intense life, a calling, a wholehearted dedication to what is genuinely real. This life won't be abstract and detached as some might think. Instead, it will be remarkably practical and affirmative. It will provide an arena for your will, your heart, and your mind to engage in boundless activities, all in harmony with the rhythms of the divine idea. This path will require much from you, constantly testing your loyalty, trust, and willingness to sacrifice for it. It will underscore the importance and value of the renunciation training you received when you first embarked on your inner journey. In many religious and philosophical traditions, renunciation is a means of detaching from material possessions, desires, and attachments in order to attain a higher state of consciousness or spiritual enlightenment. This life will be profound and encompassing. including all facets of reality that have been revealed to you as your contemplative abilities have expanded. It will make you see the inner and outer aspects of the world as inseparably linked. Because the focus has now permanently shifted from the superficial aspects of life to its essence, it won't matter much where or how this path is realized. It could be in a convent, a factory, a study, a battlefield, in the midst of a crowd, or in solitude during times of sickness or health. These fluctuations of external circumstances will no longer hold sway over you because, as the saying goes, it is love that pays for all. However, it's essential to understand that the profound connection you experienced in contemplation with the living reality and your relationship with it may not always be a constant or controllable aspect of your life. Even in the best circumstances, you will naturally and frequently shift between experiencing this spiritual fulfillment and engaging in active work in the world among people. There will be times when this sense of connection fades completely, and your most diligent efforts fail to bring it back, leaving only a lingering essence of it. The more intense your previous encounters with this connection, the more intense your hunger and desolation when it eludes you. Increased susceptibility means experiencing more pain along with the pleasure, a truth known to every artist. However, you will discover an enduring inner sense of security in everything that happens to you, even in moments of adversity or when your perception of the true path seems obscured. Even when the world's complexities appear overwhelming, you will sense an unshakable connection. All the challenges and trials that may shake your faith and hope are just different facets of one vast reality. Even if they were to completely overwhelm you, this vast reality would still embrace you. Within it, you would find the boundless essence of all life and joy, transforming and enveloping you. Whether you perceive it as personal or impersonal, the universe is now a friend to you. Just as a distrustful lover who demands constant reaffirmations of love is unworthy, you do not need continuous reassurances from it. It is sufficient that it once revealed its heart to you. A bond of love now forever connects you to it. Despite moments of abandonment, darkness, and suffering, your will aligns with the will that guides the entire universe. As we discussed at the beginning of this conversation, mysticism is essentially the art of connecting with reality. It is, above all else, a science of love. Therefore, the goal it looks forward to, which the contemplative soul yearns for, is a state of existence, not just one of perception or sight. Just as our physical senses have evolved in response to the demands of our physical environment, their true purpose is not just to provide us with pleasure or knowledge. Instead, they aim to help us better adapt to the natural world around us. Similarly, the spiritual senses, when developed through appropriate training, grant to us a certain degree of insight into reality. However, this insight isn't meant for passive observation. It's intended to enable us to respond to it. It helps us learn to live within, alongside, and for this reality. As we grow and evolve, we become more perfectly aligned with the eternal order. Ultimately, we may reach a state where, like the blessed individuals in Dante's vision, our inner clarity matches the indescribable brilliance of the enkindling light.